Well, it's always an exciting day when one of these arrives. VARDE 1. What a beast it looks. Complete with a footprint as well. Excellent. Looks good. Quite short, which is encouraging, although bulky and heavy. So without taking all the extras out of it, let's just find out what the general weight of this is. 3.2-ish. I would say I think it will fit inside the bottom of my rucksack side on. That would be great if I could just plonk it in there. Oh yeah, there's quite a lot going on. I've got one of the usual glossy brochures. Lots of spares in there. That's good. Extra guy lines, elastics. Strangely, it seems to have come with their lightest version pegs. These are the ones I've got for my shoe bivvy. So these are quite light and short. Probably not ideal for winter conditions for this beast. But I suppose it keeps the weight down to some extent. These are Featherlight NSL green. Not sure about, look to be about what, 9.5 maybe, 9.8. So Storm Amy is actually due in the next few hours. So rather than just go through everything I normally would do, I'm going to put this tent up just now in the pouring rain. We'll get a chance to see how it actually performs tonight. I've also got the Fair Storm Grotto up as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how the two of them handle really heavy rain and high winds. Okay, that's them both up. They are getting an absolute soaking, as am I. Yeah, not pleasant, but so far so good. Both tents are dry inside. Wait for the winds though. Okay, so it's about 3:30. I've popped back out again. I'm now in the Nortent VARDE 1, which is the first time I've actually been inside it. And it's a roomy beast. Yeah, it feels like a two-person. If you took the inner down, I'm sure you could sleep two in here. Or you can get a decent sized dog, plus yourself in here anyway, even with the inner. I'll need to tension the inner up, it's a wee bit slack, but I haven't actually adjusted the straps yet. But yeah, no leaks that I can see at all on the roof at the moment, particularly on this side here, which is where all the rain has really been coming in. The rain was relentless there for the last couple of hours, but it's just, no, it's back on again. It's more or less gone off at the moment though. The winds have yet to start really picking up in terms of the eye of the storm coming this way, but when it does, we'll pop back out and see how they're handling the wind. Tons of room in this place, it's nice. I do like the roof pockets come gear loft arrangement. I'm always really keen on those. Not so keen on these loose guy lines, which are messing with my OCD. I say guy lines, hanging lines, but what I might do actually is try and change those. So rather than going up over the roof, I might just sit them along the back wall, which to me might be more useful for drying stuff. Just looking at in terms of the fabric stretching, kind of similar actually. You can see the sill nylon on the Nortent on this door facing the rain and the wind, sagging and wrinkling a wee bit, and I would say it's actually very similar. Same problem with the Fairn as well, so you've got that kind of wrinkling where it's taken the vast majority of the rain, but so far the winds haven't come to anything major yet. So I've yet to try that, and that's what I'm really interested in. 3.2 kilos versus about 1.6. So we really are talking twice the weight. And this, although I think it's very good value for a tent of this quality, still about 500-600 quid I believe. Whereas this can be picked up for about 160. So yeah, I think it's an interesting little test. Right, it's another couple of hours on. It is about 5:45. I've rearranged my hanging lines inside the tent. I did not like the way they were going vertical because you couldn't really use them. So what I've done is I've put them two horizontal ones, one at the back here to hang stuff on, and then one above me here up by the little gear pocket loft just over here. But yeah, look at the size of it, it's great. Huge inside. It is now getting pretty windy. We are kind of sheltered just because there's so much leaves on the trees at where I am here. So most of the wind is going over the top through the major trees, but it does get quite vortexy and a lot of wind swimming about inside here. So we'll see how it goes. If it gets stronger, it'll get more interesting. At the moment, neither tent is really troubled. See a lot of the leaf debris and whatnot all over the tent now. So it's definitely a sign that the winds are getting up. Well, about 8:30 and they're both still standing, but let's just jump into the VARDE for a minute and have a wee look inside again. It's interesting being in the VARDE 1 in the middle of Storm Amy. It's going at the moment, it goes through a lull, then you get a real gust, and then it stops, it's dry at the moment, and then you get absolute torrential rain. The biggest impression I've got of this so far is it was very easy to pitch. So the sleeve and clip combination on all 4 poles was excellent. And once I'm in it, yeah, just the sheer space is quite impressive. It really does feel like a 1.5 person or 1 man and his dog, or take the inner down and it's a 2 person possibly. I've untied the original hanging lines and I've replaced them where I want them, so that's quite good that I can do it. It's kind of interesting, there's 2 vents, but they're on one side of the tent, which is a kind of a strange one. But I guess if you zip up the door and then open the top part so there's some mesh, there should still be a good throughput of air, which would hopefully remove any condensation. And also having the 2 vents on this side means that when you're cooking, it probably will vent a lot easier than some other tents with just a single vent. Vestibule is enormous, one of the most generous ones I've ever seen in a single person tent. It's not cold outside really, it's relatively mild. So there you are, you can vent that door as much as you want at the top. That in combination with the 2 end vents I think will work quite well for condensation control. As I said before, I like these, anything that's like a gear loft arrangement where I can stick a head torch, I'll show you in a second, is just something I really like. Head torch tucked in one of the top pockets, really nice. Width, I don't know if you can see, massive in here, absolutely enormous and very, very long. Beyond my feet there's at least 2.5 feet beyond where I'm lying. That is pretty impressive. So it's one big tent, it's one heavy tent, but I really think if this was a kind of solo tent that you wanted to spend a lot of time in and maybe camp in one place as a base, maybe if you're climbing and you've got a lot of gear, or you're doing some other activities like pack rafting or kayaking, and you want the stability but a very, very livable area that doesn't feel cramped, especially in winter. Yeah, actually I do like it. I have to say, it's a very nice place to be inside. Not so keen on triangular pockets, if I'm honest. I'd rather have one big pocket along the back where I could tuck stuff in. So maybe Nortent might look at that in the future. But there are other options. There's 2 at either end of the doors here, and then you've also got your 2 roof pockets. So you're not short on storage space, that's for sure. It was literally, this tent just arrived at lunchtime, and I hadn't any trips planned, and I thought with this storm, 100 mph plus winds, 130 odd forecast for Ben Nevis, I don't want to be an MRT liability. So I just decided I wasn't going to go out today. I'll bring you back in the morning and just we can have a look at it in daylight, just see if there's anything else worth noting or worth mentioning. I'm pleased to see that the VARDE survived Storm Amy, no problem at all. Yeah, it was a bit more sheltered here, so wasn't expecting any major disasters, but yeah, it handled it very, very well. And no leaks, which is more important as well. And this is what it's like with the 2 doors back, which I really like. It actually gives you some nice views out the canopy. Everything looks well made as always. All the seams are well done, all the hooks are excellent and very frequent, which means that there's not too much strain on the seams at any given point. I do like the wee elastic holders to wind up your guys and tuck them out of the way, because in the fern, for instance the Storm Grotto, bit of a nightmare at the moment, I get tangled all the time. One thing I would say is they haven't quite solved the water issue with the hooded vents. It could do with a little lip on it, a la MSR sewn in, so that the water runs off either that way or that way and not straight down into your porch or onto your back. I think if I'm nitpicking about the footprint, it would be nice to see clips rather than elastics on this, where you could just clip it into the fly sheet of the tent. But as it is, these have got to be looped around the pegs, I presume, although I haven't actually used it yet. Although I do like elastic tiebacks and toggles, it would have been nicer to have the same clips as used on the pole on a strap, and you just pull the strap round and clip it at the two places onto the pole itself. I think that's just a nicer, slicker, quicker system. This tent has a wee bit of a party piece as well, which you may have seen in the other videos, and that is that this porch can be disconnected from the straps and then it pops up and forms a canopy, which I can see would be quite a nice idea in the summer. The buckle down here, like so. This one here as well. Unclip those two here. Same again on this side. There we go. And what you end up with is like a covered porch, so you can take in the views, get yourself kind of shaded from the sun, but still allow yourself a wee bit of protection from the odd rain shower. Gimmick? I don't know if it's a gimmick per se, because it's something that can be done with the tent design as it is. I think it's just a bit of added value, so no bad thing. Yeah, I kind of like it. It removes a lot of the stability of the tent, so you'd have to be pretty careful. I guess you could use the guys that have rolled up here, and that'll hold this nose in place. It's not as if it's been designed as a gimmick, it's part of the design, and it just allows you that extra flexibility to do that with the tent. I personally have a tent of this strength. I do believe that if you've got the clips nearer to the crossing points, or you have like a wire carabiner type clip that can hold those two poles together in both directions, you will increase the overall strength. So if you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those at the crossing points, I think it would avoid some of the flex you get when this thing is under strain from a lot of wind, and I just think it would beef it up even more. It could even be you would use a couple of these just either side on each pole, and that would just absolutely lock it in and lock it down. But one thing I would say about this storm flap is it could probably do with being, rather than having an elastic edge in it, is being a kind of more solid vinyl material, a bit like how they attach the pole clips to there, because I think you'll get flutter in high winds, and there's also, because it's quite thin, it's got a tendency to catch the zip slightly. So there you go folks, first look at the Nortent VARDE 1. It's got to be some form of rival to something like the Hilleberg Sulo or some of the other big Hilleberg tents at the top end of the range. But it does represent amazing value for such a well-made tent. You're looking at about just over £600. If you look at the Hilleberg equivalent, you're over £1,000. So I think in many ways it's a bit of a bargain, to be honest. It is very heavy, over the 3 kilos. But it is also very spacious, so I think it will have its role where maybe you tend to be in one place for more than one night, or if you're not particularly backpacking but maybe relying on kayak or sledge or some other form of vehicle. I think it's more that kind of tent where you need a really comfortable base, particularly in four-season conditions where you've got a lot of gear, and you need to be as comfortable as you can for a long period of time. But yeah, overall I think it's a really interesting tent, and I'm looking forward to taking it out and trying it in the hills. I'll let you know how we get on. I'll do a wee follow up to this first impressions video, but let me know what you think. Is it too heavy, or is it okay? Would I pick this up, or would I pick up my QU Stormstar as my first choice? At the moment I think I'd still pick up the Stormstar because I get similar if not more space. 2.7 kilos keeps it under that magic 3 kilo for me, and it allows 2 people to sleep, whereas this is a very roomy solo tent, maybe with a dog, or if you took the inner down it would be 2 people, but then you don't get that benefit of the warmth of a four-season tent. So let me know what you think. We'll get out there shortly, and hopefully in a week or so I'll do a wee follow-up video. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you out there soon.